Hey guys, Dose of Fantasy here and welcome back. I'm sorry that I took a bit to upload again, but we're going to stay consistent. Today, we're going to be talking about how each of the Targaryen dragons died. Do note, these are all the dragons that had a Targaryen rider or was at least bonded to one, and not the riderless wild dragons who are also there. This considers both the whole Song of Ice and Fire universe, which includes Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. First of all, without further ado, let's get started with the most famous, largest, and deadliest of them all, Balerion the Black Dread, whose main rider was none other than Aegon the Conqueror himself. Balerion is actually the only dragon that survived the doom of Valyria and was born in Valyria before being brought to Westeros. Balerion the Black Dread actually died from old age at around 200 years old after having a number of riders. Next up, we have Meraxes, who was ridden by Aegon the Conqueror's sister wife, Rhaenys. Both Meraxes and its rider Rhaenys were killed in the First Dornish War when they tried attacking and conquering Dorne, and a bolt from a scorpion shot struck the dragon's eye, killing rider and dragon. Third, we have Vhagar, which many of you know from House of the Dragon, who was ridden by Aegon's other sister wife, Queen Visenya Targaryen. Vhagar also lived a relatively long life, having many riders, but finally was killed in the after having a battle to the death with the dragon Caraxes. Fourth, we have Quicksilver, whose riders were King Aenys Targaryen and his son Aegon. Quicksilver was killed by Balerion the Black Dread, who was at the time ridden by Maegor the Cruel, who had usurped the throne from his brother. Fifth, we have Vermithor the Bronze Fury, who was the dragon of the old King Jaehaerys Targaryen. He died at the settled Battle of Tumbleton, following the Dance of the Dragons after fighting to the death between dragons Seasmoke and Targaryen, killing Seasmoke but later succumbing to his wounds and dying. Sixth, we have Silverwing, who was a she-dragon ridden by Queen Alicent Targaryen. Silverwing actually is one of the few dragons to survive the Dance of Dragons, and actually escaped, living in the wilderness where she probably died from old age. Next up, we have Syrax, which you all also know from House of the Dragon, the she-dragon of Queen or Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen. Syrax was killed at the storming of the Dragon Pit, and is said to have been killed by the Dragon Layers who stormed the pit rioting. At 8, we have Caraxes the Bloodrim, most famously known to have been ridden by Prince Daemon Targaryen. He died in the Grounds of the Dragons during its battle with Vhagar beneath the God's Eye. Next up, we have Meleys, known as the Red Queen, ridden by Rhaenys Targaryen. Meleys was also a dragon that died during the Dragon Dance of the Dragons and was killed by Vhagar and Sunfire. Sunfire, the golden and most beautiful dragon apparently, was ridden by Aegon II. Sunfire was wounded in its battle with the Meleys and never really recovered properly, being unable to fly and having decaying wounds. It ended up dying to its injuries. Next up, we have Seasmoke, whose main rider was Laenor Velaryon. Seasmoke was killed in his battle with Vermithor, when Vermithor locked its head into Seasmoke's neck and ripped its head off. Dreamfire is another well-known dragon that died during the Dance of the Dragons. When the people of King's Landing stormed the dragon pit, Dreamfire was the only one who broke her chains and killed many people. However, when it tried flying up, it shattered the dome of the dragon pit, which ended up collapsing, killing Dreamfire itself and the rioters. Moving on, we have the dragons of the sons of Rhaenyra Targaryen. Firstly, Vermax, who was ridden by Jacaerys Velaryon. Vermax was killed in the Battle of the Gullet, when Jacaerys and Vermax flew too close to a ship and got struck. Then we have Arax, ridden by one of Rhaenyra's other sons, Lucerys Velaryon, who was killed by the she-dragon Vhagar, who ended up ripping it to shreds and killing Lucerys in the process, which I believe you all saw in House of the Dragon. Then we have Tyraxes, who was ridden by Rhaenyra's son Joffrey. Tyraxes was killed in the riot of King's Landing and storming of the dragon pit after being stabbed by multiple people. Moving on, we have Targaryen, known as the Blue Queen, ridden by Prince Daeron Targaryen. Targaryen also died at the Second Battle of Tumbleton in a three-way battle with dragons Vermithor and Seasmoke. Although Targaryen was the surviving one of the three, she was dying from her wounds and was shot 3 arrows into her eye, killing her. We also have the dragon Shrykos, who was bound to Prince Jaehaerys Targaryen. Shrykos was also killed in the storming of the dragon pit by an angry mob. Morgul was another dragon that was bonded to Princess Jaehaera Targaryen but never ridden. Morgul was also killed in the storming of the dragon pit, with a huge man in heavy armor calling himself the Burning Knight, claiming to have killed Morgul. Morgul, Morning, is another dragon ridden by Rhaena Targaryen. Morning was actually one of the only dragons to survive the Dance of the Dragons, and her death has not been specified, so it could have been told from old age. Moondancer was a dragon ridden by Balap Targaryen. Moondancer was killed by the dragon Sunfire and its carcass was devoured. Now we move on to the dragons from Game of Thrones. Dany's dragons, I'm sure which you all know very well. Rhaegal was killed by the scorpion weapons of the Iron Fleet of Euron Greyjoy, and Viserion was killed by the Night King, with the only surviving dragon being Drogon. Please guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to subscribe and like. It means so much to me, and I'm going to keep coming back with more videos for you. Take care, and I wish you all the best.